Well, hello friends, it's here David Vose. Today is December the 21st, 2015. Wonderful to see everybody today. Well, it's been a few days since we've had one of our discussions, and we've been covering a lot of interesting things. I get a feeling that a lot of you were really following with me and going along, agreeing with what I was saying. There was some surprises. The first big surprise was, we've been worshiping the wrong God. But I think I went over that enough. And a lot of you, stuck with me, and some of you decided, yeah, okay, I can see that. That's probably true, but you weren't convinced. But you wanted to continue and learn some more and see if maybe some of the things I was saying might be true. And, you're surprised by a lot of things. Some of you got stumbled along the way. Some of you are still hanging in there, but I think there are a lot of you that didn't care much for the Mary Magdalene videos, and I think you're getting a little disillusioned because there's a lot of information in this world. There's a lot to know, and there's so many lies. We don't really know what to do because how are we going to verify any of this information? It's very difficult to just throw away everything we've been taught. And why would you listen to me? Why would you believe anything I'm telling you when I don't want you to? I don't really want you to believe anything I'm telling you. I'm hoping that some of the things that I'm saying might inspire you to think for yourself and go out there and do some information. Look for some new information. Do some investigation. But I must admit that it's going to be difficult for any of you to find the truth. This is why I don't really care much for knowledge, because I think if I told everybody that listens to my videos, I think if I told you, well, go out there and do some research and study some books and read and read and read, I think it would just, I think it'd make things worse for you, because I think that's what I'm against, is books. I think the simplest thing in the world is to know the truth. I think when you were born, you thought, hey, I'm happy. I'm free. I'm going to run over there. And then somebody said, hey, you can't do that. And here's why. And we're going to give you a book and sit down and read the book. The book's going to explain why you can't do anything, because this could be bad and you could make a mistake and you could hurt someone, and then we're going to have to put you in jail, or God's going to punish you forever. And so you begin to think that what you instinctively knew and within yourself, that you were free and happy and full of joy, you begin to learn that that wasn't true. Or you begin to doubt a very intimate part of yourself, that part of your being that was real. You didn't need anybody to tell you how to be happy. You just went out there and did it. You didn't need anybody to tell you you were bad. You didn't even know what that was until they told you. You say, well, that makes a lot of sense, Dave. I can see what you're saying. But what about the Bible? See, you're trying to tell us that the Bible teaches this, but, well, okay, I see that you're saying the Old Testament is the wrong God, and so the New Testament doesn't teach this. I kind of get that, but there's a whole lot more that's confusing you. Okay, we could just say it's just all this information. It's all this glitter. You don't need any of it. However, I can't erase the fact that you do know all this glitter, and you've already been scared. You've already been told not to think this way or do this, and it's integral. It's within you. You're afraid of everything. If you start thinking about girls, you start feeling guilty. If you want to go and skip work and go play, you feel guilty. You think, well, I've got to work, and I'm lazy. Why do we have these words? I'm lazy. I'm evil. I'm wicked. I don't have love. All of this. Aren't all of these words just a way to control you? To make you think that you got to do something that they tell you to do. But you say, well, if I don't work, Dave, I'm not going to eat. I won't be able to eat. Well, in this system, that's true. If you don't go out there and work, then you don't get paid, and you can't go to the store and buy your food. Funny thing is that the food you're going to go out and buy with that money is going to kill you. And the food that's just laying all over the ground in nature, provided there wasn't a bunch of pollution and human beings, plowing it all up and laying cement down, building cities and roads and, making you go out and get a car so you can get to work so you can buy the car, so you can support them and funnel all your money, through the insurance companies and oil companies and all these other things into their pockets and build an empire in which you are the slave. See? So, yeah, under those circumstances, they're not going to give you your token, which you can use to go get food if you don't do what they tell you and become a slave. All right, but back to the Bible. Doesn't the Bible say you have to work? Doesn't the Bible say that we're all going to go to hell if we don't do what's right? Doesn't it even say that in the New Testament? Didn't Lazarus go to hell? And Jesus, forgave him and brought him out and said, now if you'll just do what I say, I'll get you out of hell. See, a lot of you think that's what the New Testament's about, but it's not. Somebody was asking me the other day, well, but I don't know about this Mary Magdalene thing. Because Jesus, I don't know about him being married, right? That's the Lord. Why would the Lord be married? But you see, the fact that you have any inhibitions about that idea is odd to me in the first place, because, you didn't have any problem with a virgin birth and Jesus growing up, walking this earth, dying as a human sacrifice to appease a God on your behalf to get you out of hell. You had no problem with that. And this evil, pitchforked, two-horned, fire-breathing dragon that's going to keep you in hell. And all these stories that you've been taught, but you have a lot of problem with somebody that came to our earth 2,000 years ago to teach us something that's very simple. You don't have to worry about this world. It's just an illusion. They're trying to keep you down, keep you afraid. See, now there's where it becomes difficult, because if this world's evil, then why did God create the world? We've talked about that. In the beginning, in Genesis chapter 1, Elohim created the heavens and the earth, and he uses the word create, bara. But in the second chapter, it introduces another God, small g, Jehovah God. See? He's got to have a name, because, you see, the universal Heavenly Father is light, and there's no darkness in him. And he's all things, and he's everywhere, omniscient, omnipresent, almighty. And how can you make a temple for him to dwell? Whereas Jehovah, he dwells in a temple, a man-made temple. But our Father in heaven, Jesus said he doesn't have a temple. He's everywhere. The heavens cannot contain him. He doesn't have a name, because you can't say, okay, it's something that, he needs to be proud of himself, and he has to have an ego, and he has to be defined. You can't define the universe in one word. It's everything. And our Father in heaven is all things to everyone. And all of us are in him. We're all a part of this. In him we move and have our being, it says. Think about that statement. In him we move and have our being. But you see, Jehovah, he creates light and he creates darkness. He says, I am and there is no one else. Our Father in heaven doesn't have to say stuff like that. He doesn't need you to believe in him. He only needs you to believe in yourself. See, he gives you his love because he loves you, not because he's demanding something from you. This God in the Old Testament is demanding you love him first. You obey him. Or else, you see, he gets really angry. And he's the God of war. Jehovah Sabaoth, the God of war. And he teaches David's hand for warfare. But you see, in the New Testament, our warfare is not carnal. We don't have carnal weapons to win this battle. See, and we're dealing with spirit, and we're dealing with the mind. Because you see, this Jehovah is the one who created, or he didn't create, but he yasar, or he made everything into this carnal form. And he made Adam into dust. Remember, Elohim had already made Adam in his own image, male and female, created he them. In the very beginning, there was a real world. Remember, in the New Testament it says that this world is temporary, but that which is eternal is the unseen. Now, it mentions that twice in the Bible, exactly like that. Whatever is temporal is passing away. It mentions that several times. And so what it's saying is an illusion, something that's not real or permanent. That's what the New Testament teaches. That's opposite from what the Old Testament teaches. The Old Testament says that the earth is going to be forever, and Jehovah is going to make his kingdom, and he's going to rule everybody, and he's going to demand obedience and raise his mountain above the other mountains. See, what other mountains? If God is the only God, why are there other mountains? Why are there other kingdoms besides Jehovah's kingdom? Why does Jehovah have to battle in warfare, physical warfare with other nations, and rout them out and put them to death and threaten and all of this, when the New Testament father of Jesus just doesn't, he says, hey, I could bring a legion of angels at my side, but my kingdom's no part of this world. I'm not going to fight. And, my kingdom's within you. And you can make it. Just love and turn the other cheek. And we don't need to fight for nothing. It's not carnal. We're not carnal beings. You need to put to death the flesh. Crucify the flesh. As I'm going to show you, as I go to this cross, I'm teaching you that this physical world's temporary, not to be afraid. See the wind? Don't be afraid of the wind. That's all it is. Your mind, your thoughts, they're causing all of this turmoil. The seas bubbling and, going all over the place, and your boat's rocking. And don't be afraid. You have little faith. It's a totally different teaching. It's a different God. Jesus didn't cry out to Jehovah on the cross. He cried out to Eloah. Eloah, Eloah, Allah sabachthani. See, that was his God. His God. Why hast thou forsaken me? See, and it's that same thing that we all cry out. We cry out to the true and living Father of heaven and earth, Eloah. And it's something that we don't understand when we're here and we're on that cross and we're saying, why are we here? Why are we suffering? And there's this great mystery. This is what we're all trying to figure out. Why are we here? Who is this Jehovah that can curse us and condemn us? See, it's part of ourselves. It's the darkness as opposed to the light. And the darkness is within us. So when we were in the beginning, and it says in Job that we're all there, all the sons of God were there in the beginning before the earth was founded. We all clapped for joy. Proverbs chapter 8 talks about how we were all there. And wisdom was there, right? Sophia, that was our Father in heaven's wife. And a lot of you don't know that, but she was there too, and we were all there. And the problem is that the physical universe it's an illusion and it's permanent, in the sense that your mind is permanent. See, that's why John 1:1 says, in the beginning was the Word was with God, and the Word was God. You see, the Word, or the expression, or the physical universe, it was with our Father in heaven from the beginning. Jesus is the firstborn of all creation. It's the new creation. It's the old original creation, in fact. And it's always been with our Father in heaven. There was never a time, in the beginning when it was created from nothing. But it was always there with the Father. So what happened?